So you're thinking about moving to North Georgia or North Metro Atlanta and you have a budget about 500,000. The big question it is, what does actually get you? Because here is the truth. A 500,000 home does not look the same in Alpharetta as it does in Buford, Cumming, Braselton, or Suwanee. The price might be the same, but the lifestyle, the square footage, the commute, the taxes, the HOA, and even the long-term value can look very different. So in this video, I'm going to break it down in a single way. We are looking at the three different zones in the North Metro Atlanta and the North Georgia area. Zone 1, the premium area like Alpharetta and johnscreek. Zone 2, the Northeast Corridor including Suwanee and Buford. And the Zone 3, the outer metro area including Cumming and Braselton. And by the end of this video, you will have a much better idea of where your money stretches, where it's tightened, and what kind of lifestyle might fit you best. I'm luciaursu, and I'm helping buyers, sellers, and relocators understanding North Georgia market with clarity, strategy, and no hype. Because buying a home is not just about the house. It is about the payments, the commute, the lifestyle, the long-term plan, and how that home fits into real life. So let's talk honestly about what 500,000 might get you in the North Georgia. When buyers first start looking out online, it is very easy to compare homes only by price. You see one house for 500 in one city and another house for 500 in a different city, and you think they are similar. But they are not. In real estate, locations change everything. At the 500,000 price point, you might be looking at a townhome in one area, a resale single-family home in another area, or a newer, larger home farther out. That is why understanding the zones is very important, because the question is not just can I afford the house? The better question it is, what am I getting for the money and what I'm giving up? Let's start with the Zone 1, the Alpharetta and johnscreek. Those are considering premium North Metro Atlanta markets. In 2026, median prices in these zones are generally in the range about 560 to 650 and above. And if your budget is around 500,000, you are still in the market, but your options might be more limited. At this price point, you might be looking more at the townhomes, smaller single-family homes, or homes that might need some updating. A typical 500,000 options might be a townhome or a home around 1,800 square feet to 2,200 square feet, depending on the exact location, age, condition, and neighborhood. Now, why do people still choose those areas? Because these locations are established. They offer access to major jobs, shopping, restaurants, parks, and strong resale demand. Many buyers also look closely at the school district informations, commute routes, and long-term value retention when considering this area. But here is the trade-off. You might pay more for less space. You might have a higher HOA, sometimes ranging from 600 to 2,400 per year, depending on the community. And your commute into Atlanta during peak rush hour can be around 45 to 60 minutes, especially along the Georgia 400. So Zone 1 might be a good fit if you value location, community, convenience, and established places, and long-term demand for more than having a biggest house for the money. In simple words, your 500,000 buys your location first and space second. Now let's move into Zone 2, the Northeast Corridor. This includes areas like Suwanee and Buford. This zone is very interesting because it gives buyers a different kind of balance. In 2026, median prices in these zones are generally around 565,000 to 675,000. So again, 500 might not buy the biggest or newest home in the neighborhood, but it still can give you solid options. In this zone, a 500,000 budget might get you a single-family home around 2,200 to 2,800 square feet, depending on the area, condition, age, and subdivision. You might find more traditional neighborhoods, swim and tennis community, and homes with a little more space compared to some of the premium inner suburbs. Buford and Suwanee also attract buyers because they offer a strong mix on convenience and lifestyle. You have access to shopping, dining, parks, community events, and major roads like I-85 and the Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. Buford also has unique advantages in certain areas, including lower city utilities and possible tax exemption depending on eligibility and locations. But again, you have to look at the full picture. HOA fees in those zones might be around $400 to $1,200 per year depending on the community. The peak hour commute into Atlanta might be around 50 minutes to 65 minutes using I-85 depending on the traffic and where exactly you are starting from. So zone 2 can be a strong middle ground. You might get more house than you would in Alpharetta or in Johnscreek while still being connected to major shopping, jobs, and lifestyle amenities. In simple words, your $500,000 buy you more balance. You might get more square footage, a single family home, and still stay within a strong North Metro location. Now let's talk about Zone 3, the outer metro area including Cumming and Braselton. This is where many buyers start looking when they want more space, newer constructions, and a quieter life. In 2026, median prices in these zones may range from $625,000 to $695,000. Now that might sound higher, but here is where you get the details and they matter. In some parts on these zones, especially depending on the county, builder, and community, buyer might find newer single-family homes around 2,600 to 3,200 square feet, near to 500,000 range. This is where often they're asking why I can get newer home, more space, and maybe a larger lot. Yes, sometimes you can, but here is the trade-off. You might be farther from Atlanta, your commute might be longer, and you need to think very carefully about your daily life. For example, peak rush hour commute times might be around 60 minutes to 80 minutes depending on whatever you're using, Georgia 400 or I-85. HOA fee might be lower in some communities, around $300 to $900 per year depending on the neighborhood. And in some areas, the effective property tax rate might be lower, which can make you a difference in your monthly payment. Braselton, for example, has become very attractive because it offers access to multiple counties, growing amenities, medical service, Chateau Land, Road Atlanta, restaurants, and a small town feel with the more growth coming. Cumming also continued to attract buyers because of the access to Georgia 400, Lake Lanier, and new constructions and a suburban convenience. So Zone 3 might be a good fit for you if you want more home, newer construction, and you do not need to be close to Atlanta every single day. In simple words, your $500,000 might buy you more house, but your trade-off is your time and distance. So let's compare this side by side. In Zone 1, Alpharetta and johnscreek, $500,000 might get you a townhome or a smaller home around 1,800 to 2,200 square feet. You are paying for location, convenience, and long-term demand. Zone 2, Suwanee and Buford, $500,000 might get you a single-family home around 2,200 to 2,800 square feet. You are getting the balance between space, access, and lifestyle. In Zone 3, Cumming and Braselton, $500,000 might get you a newer single-family home around 2,600 to 3,200 square foot. You might get more space and newer constructions, but you might also have a longer commute. So the real question is not where is the cheapest place to buy? The real question is which trade-off make the most sense for your life. If you're watching right now here, and you're thinking about buying here, before you fall in love with the photo online, there are a few things you need to look at. First, look at the monthly payment, not just the purchase price. A $500,000 home with the higher taxes, higher HOA fee, and the high insurance might cost you more monthly than a slightly more expensive home in another area with a lower carrying cost. Second, look at the commute. Do not just check the drive time at the 10 o'clock at night. Check it during the actual time you would drive. Morning traffic and evening traffic can be completely different on your location. Third, look at the condition of the home. A resale home in a premium locations might need some update. A newer home farther out might have fewer immediate repair, but it might come with builder premium, HOA rules, and a future development around. Fourth, look at the lifestyle. Do you want walkability? Do you want a larger home? Do you want a newer community? Do you need to be close to work? Do you want parks, a restaurant, lake access, or a slower pace? Because the best home is not always the biggest home. The best home is the one that fits your real life. And here's my honest advice. If you have a $500,000 budget in North Georgia, do not start only with the house. Start with the priority. Ask yourself, do I want location or space? Do I want newer constructions or an established area? Do I want a shorter commute or a quieter lifestyle? Do I want lower monthly cost or more amenities? Do I want to be close to Atlanta, comfortable moving farther north? Because once you understand that, the search becomes much clearer. And this is where the strategy matters. Two buyers can have the same $500,000 budget and make completely different decisions. One may choose a townhome in Alpharetta because of convenience. That's what it matters for them. Another might choose a single-family home in Buford because they want balance. And another might choose Braselton because they want more space and a slower pace. None of those are wrong. They are just choosing different lifestyle. So what does $500,000 get you in North Georgia? It depends on where you go. In Alpharetta and johnscreek, it might buy you location and long-term demand. In Suwanee, Buford, it might buy you balance, convenience, and more space. In Cumming and Braselton, it might buy you newer constructions, larger home, and a different pace of life. But the smarter move is not just about finding the home you like. The smarter move is understanding what you're really buying. The house, the area, the commute, the monthly cost, the lifestyle, and the long-term value. If you are thinking about moving to North Georgia or North Metro Atlanta, I would love and I will be happy to compare the area and make an understanding what makes the most sense for your situation. And remember, the right home is not just about where you live. It is about how you live. I'm luciaursu, your North Metro Atlanta and North Georgia realtor, here to help you understand the market, read the timing, and move with clarity and confidence. And I'm only one text away to a personal and a positive experience.